Welcome to the State of Housing podcast, the show that keeps all of you listeners updated on current housing market conditions. My name is Brennan Thomas, and I am the co-host here alongside Stephen Thomas, head economist and founder of Reports on Housing. Today, we'll talk about what we are seeing in the real estate industry and how we gather and interpret our data to provide the most reliable information, and later we'll dive straight into questions you may have. So, without further ado, before we begin, Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself and the company to all of our amazing listeners?
I'm Stephen Thomas. Reports on Housing is our company. Been doing this for quite some time. Started it actually all the way back in 2004, and founded it because there was a need in housing at the time.
What would you say that the goals of Reports on Housing are?
Well, for Reports on Housing, it's really about setting everybody's expectation, properly setting expectation. There are so many narratives out there, so many people that want to see the housing market do something for them. But that's not how the housing market works. It never does exactly what you want when you want it. So what we bring is real great analytical data, statistics, and we want to bring the absolute truth of exactly what's going on today so that people can make some really good, mature adult choices that benefit their families. It has been the driving force from the very beginning, and it's helped countless numbers of buyers and sellers and understand the market, and agents. It helps them articulate what's going into the market as well.
Absolutely. Okay. And then what areas do we cover, and where are we planning on expanding to?
So we originally started out in Orange County because I was a real estate agent, then broker, and was helping run a company in Orange County, and there was a need back in, I think I talked to you about it, back in 2004, all of a sudden a whole bunch of homes came on the market and everybody was panicking. So what a great way to communicate exactly what's going on by looking at the numbers than talking about it. So it was June of 2004 when it was born, because that is when all of a sudden a number of homes came on the market and demand started to dive. That was really the beginning of what would have been the recession, but got kicked down the path down the road. So that's where it started, Orange County. Then in 2000, I started collecting all of the data in all of SoCal in 2012, and then launched a series of reports for Riverside, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, and San Diego County in 2019. And then this year we launched the Bay Area. Need about a year's worth of data in order to launch that. So we launched that this year. We're looking to launch in Phoenix, as well as in Vegas, as well as in Sacramento. And also we'll throw in Ventura. We've been following Ventura since 2012 as well, and there is a need there. So that's where we're looking to expand, and then from there we'll see where it takes us.
Absolutely. And how large would you say our family is?
Let's see. So we have 9 kids. So it's a little bit of his, hers, and ours. So really, I brought 6 kids, had them all the time. My wife had 2 kids, had them all the time. And then we got married. I adopted her kids, and then she adopted my 2 youngest kids. And then we had Zeke. And Zeke is 5.5 years old, and he's a little teenager wrapped up in a 5-year-old body. It's a lot of fun. People go, how do you do it? I don't know. When you have 1 kid, it seems like too many. When you have 2 kids, it seems like too many. When you have 9 kids, it seems like too many. You know what? After a while, you just roll with it, and that's exactly what we do.
Absolutely. And how would you describe being a real estate geek, as we say?
I love being a real estate. I self-subscribe. I just describe myself as a real estate geek. I have a quantitative economics, decision sciences background. Originally, I was going to become a dentist. Then I started taking some science classes and I said, I don't want to do this. Went towards business, and University of California, San Diego. Totally enjoyed all the economics. I couldn't get enough of it, and math. And then I had a minor in literature. So I really enjoyed the schooling part of it and loved geeking out on the numbers and data. I cannot get enough of it. And I've also earmarked a couple of kids that I thought would be working with me. And here, one of them is right in front of me. Brendan just graduated from Washington State University, so he's joined the clan. I have other kids that I've earmarked. We'll see if Zeke is going to be doing something like that as well down the road. We'll, jury's still out, but I love sharing the numbers and geeking out. It's so much fun to hear my kids talk about CPI and did you see that jobs report? They get as excited as me, so that's a lot of fun.
Well, let's just dive right into our exploration of how we gather our data that we use for all of our presentations and for each of our reports. So, Stephen, where exactly do we get our supply and demand readings from?
So we are doing residential resale. And so with residential resale, we're looking at all multiple listing service data. So we download all the feeds, take all the data, and then distribute it. We put it into Excel spreadsheets and take that big data file and parse it as many ways as we can. So we're looking at supply, which is available number of homes to show buyers today. And none of this contingent, active, except contingent, except still accepting offers. Or backup, but still accepting offers. That's in a lot of cases seen as available inventory. It's really not, because they have a contract together and they are trying to close the transaction. So that's the way we look at available number of homes. True number of homes available to show buyers today that doesn't have another buyer connected to it. And in demand, we're looking at a snapshot of the last 30 days of pending sales activity. Now, we look at just 30 days worth because there's a lot of pending sales that sit for a long time. They might be 60 days till close or 90 days till close. That doesn't give us a true flavor of what's going on right now in the marketplace. Just taking a snapshot of the last 30 days kind of tells us when there's more buyers and fewer buyers. And we can actually see the ebb and flow in demand based upon holidays and things like that. So it really does tell us what's going on in the market, like right now today. So that's how we track available number of homes, supply, demand, pending sales. And I don't really like to follow closed sales like so many people do. And why is that? It's because that is back in the background. That is in the rearview mirror. I don't like to focus on what's already passed because you can't really make decisions based upon what's already closed. Closed transactions, if we're going to look at the closed transactions in June, which we have, that's actually a reflection of, it could be as early as April, May, and early June and closing June. So that is a snapshot of past markets. I'm talking about right now today, and pending sales, the ebbs and flows of pending sales will really tell us what's going on. So with that, we came up with expected market time. Expected market time is the amount of time it would take from placing the home on the market to getting a contract and getting it under contract, becoming a pending sale. So that everybody should want to know that number is. People get it mistaken with days on market. It is not days on market. Days on market, it can really be skewed. I talked about in June of 2004 coming up with the housing report at that time. And the reason I came up with it is because all of a sudden we went from 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 homes in just a matter of weeks. It was a whole bunch of homes coming on the market. When you have that many homes coming on the market, what is the average days on market or median days on market going to be? Really tiny. At the same time, demand fell. So the true velocity of the market is based upon the available number of homes and a snapshot of demand pending sales. So if you take available number of homes and a snapshot of pending sales, when there are changes in the marketplace, it's going to show really fast in our expected market time. You will not find this in days on market. Days on market will not tell you anything, although everybody wants to follow days on market. I throw it out. I never liked it. And so that's why we went to expected market time, because it gives a true characteristic flavor of what the market is. And based upon our expected market time readings, I can tell you which way the house housing market is lining up? Is it lining up towards the sellers, where they get to where they have all the negotiating power, or is it a slight seller's market where they don't have as much negotiating power, or is it a slight buyer's market, or equilibrium? A lot of people even forget about it. Could be a seller's market, could be a buyer's market. How about a balanced market, one where everybody has to get along? You get to slight buyer's market, buyers start to have a little bit more favor, and you get to a deep buyer's market. That's where buyers can take their time. We haven't been there in a long time. Last time deep buyer's market was a Great Recession, and that's where values are plunging. The last year when we had values coming down a little bit, I would refer to that more as a slight buyer's market than anything else. So that's how we splice the numbers, and we do this methodically. We actually do it weekly. The reports come out every other week, and we alternate between different areas as to where we focus for that particular week.
Absolutely. And what are you seeing in today's numbers right now?
So today, where we have an issue, what I refer to, it was what I called a supply crisis. Now I'm back to calling it a supply catastrophe. There are not enough homes on the market. And that's what's really driving our marketplace right now, because we have an affordability issue with interest rates like dotting right around 6.75%. I think that's where Freddie Mac's mortgage market survey had it for like the last week. So if you look at that, 6.75 is a bit high, and if you look at we look at affordability based upon income, price, as well as interest rates. So we look at all of that and you factor in, okay, how much of your monthly payment is being devoted to exhausting the monthly mortgage amount if you were to purchase today. And we're looking at median household incomes, and right now it's off the charts, very unaffordable. So that should be impacting demand. However, we have no supply. And the reason we have no supply is because we have a lot of homeowners that what we refer to as hunkering down. Some people call it golden handcuffs. Some people call it mortgage rate lockdown. I don't care what people call it. It is preventing these higher rates going from 3.25% all the way up to getting past 7%, almost to 7.25% last year in October and November. That great of a speed was really slowed our market. It was like slamming on the brakes of our market. But it was such a big, giant difference that it left a lot of homeowners sitting there in their houses enjoying these incredible fixed rate mortgages with very, very tiny interest rates. So it's like in the state of California, which beats the United States, 30% of everybody has of everybody with a loan, because there's a lot of people that don't have a loan, 30% actually have an interest rate at 3% or lower. Today, they're at 6.75%. That's such a giant difference that why are they going to sell their home? As a matter of fact, they're going to turn their homes into rentals before they were to sell their homes if they were to purchase something else. So, and then even the numbers below 4%, and the vast majority of everybody still well below 5% or lower. It is like, can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's like 89% of everybody has an interest rate of 5% or lower, which means that everybody's enjoying these great rates. When they have these incredible low fixed rate mortgages, it prevents a lot of people from selling their home and moving, which takes out the equation of two sides of this transaction, the listing side, and also the buy side. So we're missing a big chunk of the market. So as a result, for all of Southern California, 42% fewer homes are coming on the market than compared to prior to COVID. And that's, I look at the 3-year average before COVID, or we look at 2017, 18, and 19. And similar numbers come on every single month. It's within just a few percentage points of each other every single year for January, February, March on. And what we're seeing is that when we first went into COVID, April of 2020, we were missing like half of the number of sellers that were supposed to come on, because homeowners were wondering, how can I sell my home right now? We're in the midst of a lockdown. So we still had people that came on the market. So there seems to always be a flow. And then come this year, it was starting to get bad in 2022, and but by the time we got to this year, it had reached a crescendo, and all year long it has been where a number of homeowners are not coming on the market. When you're missing 42%, that means that you only have 58% of your normal flow coming in, and if we're missing that big chunk of inventory. So we still have low demand. That low demand reading, the low pending sales, is partially because we have fewer homes available. That's part of it. But the other part of it that we can't really read right now is if we had more homes on the market, you'd actually be able to read it, because it's not all of a sudden if we had double the number of homes on the market, we'd have double the number of people that went into pending sales. There wouldn't be twice as much demand. That's not what would happen. Instead, it would move up a little bit, but then would stop because of the affordability issue. There's only so many people that can afford homes at today's mortgage rates. I can see it because we look at the affordability based upon incomes and interest rates and where values are today, and it's just too off the charts. So there's a lot of people that are precluded from purchasing based upon where interest rates are right now today. So we're missing supply, and demand is low, but supply is so low that it's driven our market where we were going down in our marketplace from it was June in SoCal, June all the way through December, values were coming down. And that's because the market really started to slow, and buyers were really pulling back because interest rates were continuing to rise. And there was this big uncertainty as to, man, if it keeps on going, this market is just going to plunge. So we had buyers that were in that marketplace did not want to pay full price. They were paying less, and we had values that were coming down. But then interest rates stabilized once we got to about October, November of last year. We started to see a top, and then it started to come down. And because we saw that top, and they continued to come down just a little bit, because they were already all the way at 7%. By the time we got to February, they had got all the way down to 6%. But since then, they've come up. But it's not like we're going from 6% to 7% to 8% to 9% like last year. Instead, we've stayed within that level between about 6 and 7%. If you at least pay a point, it has not gone above 7%. If you pay no points, which we follow a daily mortgage daily mortgage rate. And that's really good. However, their daily mortgage rate is based upon 0 points. Almost nobody out there is paying no points. So everybody's paying at least a point. So that brings down the interest rates considerably. And that's what Freddie Mac's mortgage market survey shows. So we've been staying between 6 and 7% and just locked in there. But it's lost that volatility in interest rates, and buyers are sitting back going, man, it's not going more negative now, and there are fewer homes on the market, and the buyers that are participating, because there's a lot of millennials, this big first-time home buyer demographic patch that they are ready to purchase but can't because they're all chasing after crumbs. And as a result, we only had about 6 months where everything slowed down considerably, where buyers finally were able to take their time, values are coming down. It was really nice, but that's it. Once we got to January, things started to really change. You could see it in the numbers, February, March, and we could see our expected market time was all the way at 100 days for all of SoCal and came all the way down into right around 50. And right now it's at 57, which is still a really strong reading, 57-day expected market time. That's a really strong reading. So we're seeing that this market is still exceptionally hot. We're now seeing anything below luxury is pretty much you're dealing with multiple showings, multiple offers, and sales above their asking price, or at least asking price. I think right now we're at, for the state of California and Southern California, it's at 100%. The sales price to list price ratio. It's at 100%, which means everybody's getting their asking price. And in all actuality, the upper ranges aren't getting 100%, they're getting less. And the lower ranges are getting above 100%. They're not sizably huge, but still between 2 and 3% more than the asking price is kind of what we've been seeing. And as a result, we've had values that have gone up And so December was the bottom. January, February, March, April, May, it's all gone up. And as soon as June's numbers are released, I anticipate it's going to be another month up. And we look at all the different home price indexes, and that's what things are indicating. I can't wait for the next one to come out because it will be for June, and it'll be up as well because everything that we know that's going on in the marketplace right now. So that's what we're dealing with in the marketplace. No homes on the market. Fewer sellers because they're enjoying their low rates. Even if they can afford to make purchase something else, they don't want to see their payment all of a sudden doubles. Now they have a lot less discretionary income to work with. So they're just staying, waiting for interest rates to come down. Some people are still doing it, but it's far fewer. So that's really, in a nutshell, what is going on right now.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite analogies is yours when you talk about Disneyland and the shortage of rides. So why don't you just describe to all of the listeners how you tell me that every single time?
Yeah, because here's the issue. Because I've had a lot of agents actually contact me, or they'll say, Stephen, you got it all wrong. There's plenty of demand out there. There's plenty of demand. And I get that. Yeah, it feels that way because there are so few, the number of homes on the market right now, there are so few homes that as a result, it feels, man, like I had 50 people come through my open house. So there's tons and tons of buyer activity. But remember, these same people are floating all around and they're bumping into each other when they're in that same range. The issue is is that there's just not enough homes. And my analogy is Disneyland. You go to the happiest place on earth and you find out that they're limiting the number of ticket sales to half the number that's normally on a summer day. So you're excited because now you're thinking, man, all the rides are going to be totally walk on. I'm going to be able to walk on everything, totally enjoy my day. It's pretty fantastic. I'm going to be in the driver's seat. Like the buyers, that's how they feel that it should be. But then you get into Disneyland and then you find out that half of the rides are closed down. Half of the attractions are not available. So now all of a sudden you have the same long lines on a normal hot summer day, and yet there's only half the people. But it feels like, man, what's the issue? They should limit their ticket sales. That's not what it is. We need more product. We need more of the attractions to be available. That's exactly what's going on today. We actually need more homes on the market so you can accurately depict what true buyer demand is today. It's not as hot as where it was when we had interest rates that were a lot lower. So, and it's not going to be as hot until we do see interest rates fall down the road.
Absolutely. And with everything being in so much of a crunch and with the housing market really just not at the speed of what a normal market would be, just because interest rates are so high and supply is obviously just so diminished, how would you recommend, or what would you recommend to real estate agents and everyone in the real estate industry to do to sort of keep going through this just difficult time?
Yeah, this is the time where it's the survival of the fittest. And that's where you're doubling down, tripling down, just working extra hard, making sure that whatever you do outshines everybody else. It's polishing up. The customer service has got to be off the charts. If you're working an open house, you better have the best open house. You better stage that thing, have music playing, have good smelling cookies, have waters, have packages ready to go for buyers, that type of thing. Whatever you do, just knock it out of the park and put your nose to the grindstone. Agents are getting out of the business right now at the tune of one every 37 seconds. And that is because there's a lot of people that just don't want to put in that kind of work. And it's always one of those things where in these kind of markets, the cream always rises to the top. And the cream rise to the top are the people that are out there crushing it every day. Those are the ones that are doing what needs to be done on a daily basis and working extra hard. If I was an agent today, I would be hitting it on all cylinders. I'd be hitting the millennial crowd through, Instagram and through, Twitter feeds, whatever the new feeds are that are out there. There's a lot of new everything, but I would make sure that I hit it up that way and communicating via text. But then you have to know your audience too, because 40% of all buyers within the over the last year were actually baby boomers. Baby boomers aren't interested in Instagram. Matter of fact, they'll go on Facebook, but you can't really advertise to them that well on Facebook. You need to do it the old-fashioned way. You need to pick up the phone. You need to get in front of those people that are your raving fans that you've worked with in the past, and that they're referring you to other people. It's just making sure you up your game. It's emailing to them, contacting them, getting in front of people. That's the old-fashioned way of doing things. You got to blend everything together, and it's like I said, double down, triple down, and you'll see those are the people that are doing really well. As a matter of fact, there are many agents where they look at somebody and say, "How come they're getting all that business? They must be doing something illegal, or they are given all this business." That's not what it is. It's those people that have worked hard for a long time, and it's paying off. You just need to put in the work and effort, and then things will pay off.
Absolutely. And with so much happening right now, do you see like an end in sight? Is there like a light at the end of the road, or what's your prediction on this?
Yeah. So my feeling on this has been, as soon as we get interest rates down, we're going to see a change, a shift in our marketplace. So the Fed's talked about how the Fed can't do anything else. I mean, they can continue to raise the short-term rate. Who cares at the end of the day? Interest rates can keep on going up. We already know what's going to happen. Fewer and fewer homes come on the market because everybody's enjoying their incredibly low fixed rate mortgages. So yeah, demand could go down, but so can the number of homes coming on the market, because I've actually seen a slight increase in the number of homes coming on the market. Nothing to brag about. But like April was a bottom. That was awful, the number of homes that came on the market. But you're looking at May and June, few more, not much. But if interest rates were to go up, you'd actually see that number come down even further. So increasing rates is not going to fix anything. It's not going to add a whole bunch of inventory like so many people think. It did it in the past. It did it in 2013. It did it in 2018. I've seen it before where we've seen this ride up in inventory because interest rates are going up. That's what happened. But the problem is interest rates went up too big. They went from 3.25. Those two times that I was talking about, they went up 1% each of those years. In 2013, by the end 2018, same thing, went up from 4 to 5% most recently. That was enough where it changes the marketplace. So if our marketplace went from 3.25 to 5%, and they stopped at 5%, that would have changed our marketplace, and we would have had a regular, good old-fashioned buyer's market. But it didn't stop there. It went from 5 to 6 to 7, and now we're stuck between 6 and 7. Now it's created something totally different. So, and we haven't been here where we've had this kind of a marketplace. What's the only fixed remedy to this? You need interest rates to come down. And how does that happen? You see it in the data. We need CPI and inflation, all different PPI, all these different inflation reads to come down. Once core comes down enough, then you're going to see that the Fed backs off. And then that's one of the things that we're going to look at. Another thing that we're going to see is we'll start to see other things. When you bring interest rates from 3.25% to 7%, or actually the short-term rate, which was at 0, all the way to where it's at today at 5.25, it'll be at 5.5 in a week from now. But when you make that kind of a change, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and it's going to really impact the business sector, those people that own big buildings, because those are not fixed rate mortgages where they pay off the buildings. There's balloon payments. And when they come due, all of a sudden they're looking at this new loan going, no way, can't do it. I need a new loan, but there's no way I can pay this. So we're already seeing it in the news. It's starting right now. And it's not like over the next 6 months, a lot happens, but over the next year and a half, yes, a lot of those come due. So there's big changes in the marketplace that are going to come. So we'll see some slowing, and you'll see it in the overall economy reads. Another thing is we're going to see student debt loans. They're going to start to resume. Not everybody's debt was excused, and starts August 1st. When's August 1st? Like in a week and a half?
Right around the corner. Yeah.
Seriously. So we're just about to hit it. I think it's 10 days from now. Or 11 days from now, we'll be at August 1st. So that has an impact on spending. And we've already seen it in the numbers that were released this month. People are going, all of a sudden, boy, that's weird. I can't believe that the consumers are spending less. Yeah, because they're prepping for what's coming in August, and it's gonna get a little bit worse. So we're gonna start to see these negative numbers come out in consumer spending, and then you're gonna see some different things, some big headlines that come out down the road. And my anticipation was this actually is going to happen in August. I thought it was going to happen earlier, but by the time we got to March, I was saying, yeah, it's going to be all the way in August. I still feel that we're going to start to see it. We actually got a precursor to that. We saw CPI come down a lot more than what they thought. We saw consumer spending didn't go up as much as people thought. So we're already getting a couple of numbers, and this is July. When we get to August, I think we're going to see a couple more. And as you get these slower reads on the economy, that's when all of a sudden there's this flight to safety because they see the economy is slowing down. And where do people like to park their money? Into 10-year treasuries, long-term debt. And we follow the 10-year treasury. We follow the 10-year treasury because it's the same appetite as the investor for 10-year treasuries as the investor for 30-year mortgage-backed securities. So when the 10-year treasury goes up, mortgage-backed security goes up, interest rates go up. So when 10-year treasury goes down, interest rates go down. And what happens when the overall economy cools? People like to park their money in long-term assets like mortgage-backed securities, like the 10-year bonds. And when you see that these start to come down with the economy cooling, we'll see interest rates start to come down. And once we get interest rates come down, you're going to see that there's going to be this change. The change is twofold. The change is more buyers. We're going to get more buyers. Both buyers are going to come into the marketplace. That's first. That's first and foremost. Yeah, as you can see, this dial will be slow. It's not going to be overnight. Where all of a sudden we're going to go from 6%, 6 to 5.5. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to be this slow, bumpy dial, but it will eventually get down there. And when they get down there, the more that it gets down, the more buyers that will enter the marketplace. And then down the road, the closer we get, once we get under 6%, that's where we're going to bridge the gap a little bit between where people's prevailing rates are today. Their fixed rate mortgages that they're enjoying to where interest rates will be in the future. When they get under 6%, that bridge isn't as big. When you go from where they have a fixed rate, like let's say 3.5%, and they're at 7%, that's too big of a gap. But when you have at 3.5%, and now you're at 5.5%, that gap isn't as large. You're going to see some people that will jump into the housing market. They'll sell their homes and buy something else. It'll create more mobility. So we will get more sellers coming on the market. We will do more closed transactions. This year, we're doing far fewer closed transactions than we've done since the Great Recession. It doesn't mean we're in a Great Recession because values are still going up. It means that if you're tied to real estate, you are doing fewer transactions. It feels like the Great Recession, yet the homeowners are sitting in a really good place. But what will happen is that once interest rates come down, there will be more product. But that product that comes on, those more homes, will go right into pending sale status. So it's not like all of a sudden we're going to be seeing inventory going up. That's not what's going to happen. Instead, we're going to see lots of demand met with more homes on the market and inventory issues to come. So we're going to have this inventory issue thing for a while, which is why I've said this is a great time to purchase because of this. Because then down the road, you can actually, when interest rates fall by 1% or more, it makes sense to refinance. And you can refinance as many times as you want. So if you have an interest rate, like let's say at 6.75% and interest rates come down to 5.75%, you can refinance. And then if they go from 5.75% down to 4.75%, you can refinance again down the road. And you're at all that time you were fixed. Now you're fixed, and now your payment's smaller. And then your payment's even smaller. It's like getting this big boost in your monthly income. It's what it feels like. It's similar to what we did. We purchased in 2019, and then we were able to exhaust that debt. We were totally qualified for it. And then in the midst of the pandemic, we refinanced in 2021, and then now we're sitting with a fantastic rate. So it feels like, man, we have all this extra discretionary money because it's not going to exhaust our debt. It's now our payment is way less. So that's what's going to happen down the road. And we're going to see this. You're going to see more homes coming on the market. You will see demand first. And this market will be crazy as soon as interest rates start to come down because we do not have enough homes. We've got ourselves into a pickle. The Fed made it worse.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we got our fingers crossed for a better looking market in the future. But right now, we're going to have to conclude today's episode. So I just want to say, for more information on the housing market, feel free to visit our YouTube or subscribe to our housing report via our website, which is reportsonhousing.com. In each report, we go into great detail into current movements in each housing market. So far, we cater to Southern California and the Bay Area. If you sign up today, you can use the promo code podcast for 1 free month, and this code will be valid until the next episode. It does not get better than that. So thank you all for listening to the State of Housing podcast. Before we go, please leave any questions via our website or through our streaming platforms here if you have any questions at all, and we'd love to answer them. And also, if you could please leave us a good review. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.